Hey guys, it's Glitchin back with another deck list video. Today we will be doing Fire King Dogmatika. Fire King is a deck that was pushed into the meta by the new structure deck, allowing it to be a destruction focused combo deck, mainly focusing on destroying its own cards for card advantage. We will be doing the Dogmatika version because it is a lot cheaper than the Diabell Star version, since Wanted is at $200 a copy. So let's get right into it. We will start off with two Sacred Fire King Runics. Runics allows you to special summon itself from hand or grave whenever a fire monster is destroyed. Then, on summon, it allows you to destroy a fire from hand, field, or deck, and then gain attack equal to half of the destroyed monster's attacks. This effect is really good. It's a good extender because it adds an extra body on field and can destroy something from deck, basically foolish barreling it while destroying, which this deck loves. Or you could just use it as a big beater in cases where you can't really do much. So you can just blow up one of your own fire cards, summon this, give it a bunch of attack by destroying a high attack monster from your deck, then swing over one of your opponent's problem boss monsters. Very good. You also play 3 Fire King High Avatar Kirin. Kirin allows you as a quick effect to destroy one fire monster from hand or field in order to special summon it. This effect is really good because it adds an extra body on field as a quick effect and destroys one of your monsters during your opponent's turn. Stumbling over my words a bit. This is really good because it allows us to trigger our effects during our opponent's turn, netting extra card advantage. Then, if Fire King High Avatar is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Fire King from hand or graveyard. Then, non-targeting, destroy one card on the field. You can destroy one of your own cards for some extra card advantage with your Fire King's effects, or you can destroy one of your opponent's monsters or spell traps, says card, in order to disrupt their plays. Next, we play 3 Legendary Fire King Ponix. Ponix is the new combo starter for the deck, on summon, allowing you to add any Fire King spell trap from deck to hand. Also, if a fire monster is destroyed by card effect or by battle, you can special summon this card from your hand, allowing you even more card advantage since you aren't necessarily using your normal summon on. We also play 3 Arvada. Arvada, when on field, and your opponent activates monster effect, you can destroy one fire monster from hand or field in order to negate it. This is a really good effect because it adds a extra piece of interaction to our end board. Also, if Fire King Avatar Arvada is destroyed, you can target a different Fire King in your graveyard and special summon it, allowing it to, once again, be a good end piece or a combo extender. Next, we have Rangbali. Rangbali is very similar to Arvada. Instead of being a monster negate, it's a spell trap negate while destroying a fire monster from hand or field. And if a fire monster on the field is destroyed, you can special summon it from your hand. We also play 1 Barong. Barong, if destroyed during the next standby phase, allows you to add any Fire King monster from deck to hand. Usually you want to be adding Kirin since it is a quick effect, and that allows you to combo off on your opponent's turn, doing a lot of good things. Or you could really add any of these. Doesn't really matter if you want some follow-up for the next turn. For the Dogmatika package, we have 1 Maximus. Maximus allows you to banish a extra deck monster from your grave in order to special summon it. Then during the main phase, you can send 2 differently named extra deck cards from your extra deck to the grave in order to make your opponent send 2. They don't have to be differently named, they can be the same. Extra deck cards from their extra deck to the grave. Now, our extra deck is loaded with cards with graveyard effects, allowing us to fully utilize this effect. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. Next, we have 1 Dogmatika Fleur-de-Lis the Knighted. Fleur-de-Lis the Knighted, when a extra deck monster is on the field, you are allowed to special summon it, then target 1 card on the field and negate its effects. So, if your opponent special summons a card and they need its effect to go off, you can special summon this card and then negate its effects. Next, we have 3 Nadir Servant. Nadir Servant allows you to send 1 extra deck monster from extra deck to grave in order to add a Dogmatika monster. Usually, you want to be sending Maximus, and since you already have an extra deck monster in the grave, that allows Maximus to special summon itself. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. For the hand trap lineup, we have 3 Ash Blossom. Very common hand trap, doesn't really need an explanation, but I'll give it one anyway. When your opponent activates a card effect that adds a card from deck to hand, sends a card from deck to grave, or tries to special summon a monster from deck, you can send this card from your hand to the grave in order to negate its effect. Very common hand trap, doesn't really need an explanation. For the next one, we have 3 Droll Knockbird. Droll Knockbird allows you to send it to grave on resolution of a card effect that adds a card from deck to hand. So your opponent searches for a card, you activate this, then neither player can add cards from deck to hand for the rest of the turn. Next we have 2 Nibiru. Nibiru, when your opponent special summons, not specials, just summons, it counts normals too, summons 5 monsters, you can activate its effect in hand, attributing all face-up monsters on the field, and then giving your opponent a token with the combined stats of all those monsters and special summoning Nibiru. Usually the token is way easier to take care of than whatever shenaniganery they were trying to do on their turn. So, it goes back to you. You just pop the token with one of your destruction effects, basically have game from there. You could also be running DD Crow instead of either of these. I would probably run it over Nibiru, so I'd probably be running 2 DD Crow, but I feel like a main deck Nibiru can kind of just steal some games sometimes. DD Crow allows you to send it from hand to grave in order to banish a card from your opponent's grave. It does offer some good disruption, and it is searchable in this deck, but I just don't really feel it does enough when compared to like a main deck Nibiru. We also have 3 Imperm, another very common hand trap in the main deck. Imperm allows you to target 1 monster on the field and negate its effects. And if you control no cards on the field, you can activate it from your hand, which makes it very good going second, and going first you can just set it, and when you activate it, it negates all spell traps in the same column as it for the rest of the turn. So going first and going second, very useful. For these spells, we have 3 Fire King Sanctuary. Sanctuary on activation allows you to activate a Fire King Island from your deck, and once per turn, if a face-up card in your field spell zone would be destroyed, you can destroy a fire monster from hand or field instead. And when your opponent special summons a monster, you can immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon a Fire Xyz using monsters you control. This card is very good, acting as another 3 copies of Island while also protecting it and allowing you to Xyz summon on your opponent's turn. Something that is very useful when we will get to the extra deck. Fire King Island, when it leaves the field and is sent to the graveyard or banished, destroy all monsters you control. This is usually pretty bad, so that's why we have Sanctuary to protect it, by destroying 1 fire monster from field or hand instead. Its actually good effects, and not really restrictions, are you can destroy a fire monster from hand or field in order to add a Fire King monster from deck to hand. A very good search while also destroying stuff, which we love in this deck. Or, if you control no monsters, you can special summon 1 Fire Winged Beast from your hand, allowing you to special summon Ponix or Garunix, both good monsters to special summon if you're in a pinch. We also have 1 Fire King Skyburn. Fire King Skyburn, you target an equal number of Fire King monsters you control and cards your opponent controls and destroy them. This is very good. It gives you additional follow-up by destroying your monsters and getting their effects off, while also disrupting your opponent by destroying their cards. We have 2 Fire Formation Tenki. Tenki on activation allows you to add a Beast Warrior monster, level 4 or lower, from deck to hand. This searches Arvada, which, as I've said, is a good endboard piece and combo extender. It also gives all Beast Warrior monsters a 100 attack, which doesn't really come up very often. We also have 1 1-for-1. 1-for-1 allows you to send 1 monster from hand to grave in order to special summon 1 level 1 monster from your deck. This is another Ponix Searcher, which is very good. We have 2 Triple Tactics Talent, the anti-hand trap card. When your opponent activates a monster effect during your main phase, you can either draw 2 cards, take control of one of your opponent's monsters, or take a look at their hand and shuffle 1 card from the hand back into the deck. All very good effects, which discourages your opponent from activating monster effects during your main phase. For the extra deck, we have 2 Garunix Eternity Hyang of the Fire King. Garunix Eternity on Xyz summon destroys all other face-up monsters on the field. It also has an effect to detach 1 Xyz material, to target 1 spell trap on the field, destroy it, and if you do, it gains 500 attack. Also, if it is destroyed, you can special summon Fire Kings from your grave equal to the number of material it had. The effect we want the most is its on Xyz summon effect, since we can quick effect Xyz summon it on our opponent's turn. The spell trap destruction isn't really that great since it is not a quick effect, but the on destruction effect is pretty good since it nets us 2 monsters. Next we have 1 Dingirsu, Orchest of the Evening Star. On Xyz Summon, it allows you to send 1 card from field to grave. This is really good for getting around your opponent's monsters that are immune to destruction, so I like running it in the deck. Next we have 1 Hope Harbinger. Hope Harbinger is a spell negate on your opponent's turn. It also has a attack redirection effect by detaching Xyz materials, but that effect rarely comes up, and we don't really even need it. We mostly want it for the spell negate. Next we have 1 Almirage, 1 Link Karibo. They both serve the same purpose of putting Garunix in the grave for even more combo potential. Next we have 1 Hita, Fire Charmer Ablaze. Hita the Fire Charmer Ablaze allows you to target 1 fire monster in your opponent's grave and special summon it to your field. This is really good since Fire King and Rescue Ace are both fire decks that are meta. Since they both are, you'll usually have a target for this effect. Next we have 1 Sunlight Wolf. Sunlight Wolf, when a monster is special summoned to a zone it points to, you are allowed to target a fire monster in your grave and add it back to your hand. This gives good recyclability to the deck. And pro tip, you can add back Ash Blossom, which is very funny. We have 1 Decode Talker Heatsoul. Heatsoul allows you to pay 1,000 life points to draw a card. This allows you to draw 2 cards, 1 on the turn you summon it. Then, when you pass turn to opponent, pay another 1,000 life points, draw a card. This has the potential to draw you into more hand traps in order to disrupt your opponent. Next we have 1 Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker is a generic ending the game kind of card. On summon, allows you to target a link monster that was used as link material for it, and then this card gains 1,000 attack for each link that opponent had, that monster had. I'm stumbling over my words. So if we used Heatsoul, it would gain 1, 2, 3,000 attack. It also has an effect to banish 1 link monster from your grave in order to destroy 1 card on the field, but you cannot use the same attribute as that card for the turn for this effect. So if we banished a fire, we couldn't banish another fire, but we could banish a dark. So that's 2 destructions. For the targets to send off of our Dogmatika cards, we have Tri-Brigade Farragut, the Baron Blossom. This is also a good card that we can go into because it allows us to special summon a Beast, Winged Beast, or Beast Warrior monster from our hand, but we can only use Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monsters for link material for the rest of the turn. But its graveyard effect also allows you to draw 1 card, then put 1 card from your hand onto the bottom of the deck. Both very good effects, both for link climbing and a little bit of a draw search, get some hand traps maybe. Shraig, the Ominous Omen. We're mostly using this for its graveyard effect. When sent to grave, you can add a Winged Beast monster from deck to hand. This searches Ponix, which is very good. We also have Titanic Clad, the Ash Dragon. Titanic Clad, when sent to grave, during the end phase, you can add or special summon a Dogmatika card. Usually you want to be adding Fleur de Lis, which nets us extra advantage and interruption on our opponent's turn. We also have 1 Garunix. Garunix, when sent to grave, allows you to draw 1 card. It is also a very good super polymerization target. So if you want to run super polymerization in the side or main deck, you almost definitely want this in your extra deck. We also have 1 Elder Entity Entis. Entis, when sent to grave, allows you to target 1 card on the field and destroy it. Another good effect to pop off with. Alright, let's get to some combos. We'll start off with the 1 card combo that basically every Fire King deck list will show you. Start off with Ponix. We normal summon the Ponix, adding Sanctuary, activating Sanctuary in order to activate our Fire King Island from deck. Fire King Island effect, pop the Ponix in order to add Garunix. Garunix, since a fire monster was destroyed, special summons itself. Garunix effect destroys a card from deck, destroying your copy of Wrong. Then we pass the turn. You may say, what? Why? We have almost nothing here. But in the standby phase, Barong activates, adding us our copy of Kirin. I forget if I mentioned this, but Ponix also has an effect when it is destroyed during the next standby phase. Add to your hand. So, quick effect, destroy the Ponix, special summon this. Then, if our opponent special summons a monster, we can go, okay, we will make Garunix Eternity. Destroy all other monsters on the field. Next, I will show you a 1-card combo with the Dogmatika engine. This does lock you out of the extra deck, but we don't really necessarily need to go into the extra deck on our turn, since we can Xyz summon during our opponent's turn. Activate Nadir Servant, sending 1 card from extra deck to grave. We will be sending our copy of Shuraig. This, adding you Maximus. Shuraig effect, adding you Ponix. We will activate our Maximus, special summoning it. Actually. Alright, I will show you a 1-card Dogmatika Combo. We will activate Nadir Servant. We are locked out of the extra deck, but we can send 1 extra deck card to the grave in order to search our copy of Maximus. Shuraig effects triggers, adding us our copy of Ponix. We will activate Maximus, banishing our Shuraig from our grave in order to special summon it. We will then activate our Maximus effect, sending 2 cards from our extra deck to the grave. I'll send Titaniclad and a copy of Garura. Garura effect triggers, drawing us 1 card. Again, normal summon Ponix. Ponix effect, add Sanctuary. Sanctuary effect, activate Fire King Island. Pretty standard so far. Destroy the Ponix, add the Garunix, special Garunix, destroy the Barong. Pass. In our end phase, Titaniclad effect, add Fleur-de-Lis to our hand. In our opponent's standby phase, Barong, add Kieran. Ponix, add itself. And we have made basically the same end board, but with more interruption with our Fleur-de-Lis. And we ripped 2 cards out of our opponent's extra deck, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Alright, now I will show you a combo that tries to get to Decode Talker in order to draw some hand traps. So we'll start with Ponix and Arvada. Really, you need Ponix plus any other extension. Normal Ponix, add Sanctuary. Sanctuary, activate Island. Here's where the combos diverge from our normal combo, though. We will link off our Ponix for a Link Karibo. Don't make Almirage. It's important that they are different attributes for our copy of Decode Talker Heatsoul, which requires 2 cybers with different attributes. Then we will Fire King Island, destroy this, our Arvada, in order to add Garunix. Arvada effect, special the Ponix. Garunix effect, special itself, destroy a Barong from deck. Then link these 2 off into a Fire Cybers monster. Ta-da! Sunlight Wolf. Link these off for Heatsoul. Heatsoul effect, draws a card. And our turn. In our opponent's standby phase, our Barong adds us a copy of Kieran. And Ponix adds self-effect hand. Heatsoul effect, draw another card. So, we have 2 possible hand traps, plus an extra Kieran on board. So this isn't the greatest combo, but if you can go into it, drawing extra hand traps can be very useful. Alright, we were doing some test hands. Take everything I do in this part with a grain of salt, because I don't think I'm the best Fire King pilot. Hand me some Springans or an Earth Machine, I'm doing fine, but Fire King, I'm still learning. So this is more for my sake than for yours. But let's see what we can do. And if I completely screw this up, feel free to correct everything I do in the comments. Let's see here. Shuffle up real good. Don't want to draw a whole bunch of duds. Alright, Imperm, Nadir, Ponix, Kieran, Sanctuary. Now, for this hand, this is why you would be running DD Crow, because you can do the Nadir Servant combo, but instead of adding Ponix, you can add a copy of DD Crow. But I'm still testing it to see if that comes up enough in order for it to actually be worth it. For this combo, I would probably let's think here. I think we can leave the no. Let's activate. We activate the Nadir servant. We'll send a copy of Grunix for an extra card draw. Searching us our Maximus. Where are you, Maximus? There we go, Maximus. Grunix effect. Shuffle up really good. Draw a card. Ash Blossom. Very good. Very good. Very good. Banish this from grave. Special our Maximus. Maximus effect. I'll send Titanic Clad. We could search out a Winged Beast, or we could draw one, shuffle one. I think I'll search another copy of Ponix. Our opponent sends 2 from their extra to the grave. We get to add a Winged Beast. So we'll add an additional copy of Ponix. Still haven't normaled. We will normal Ponix. Ponix effect. We already have Sanctuary. Lucky us. We will add a copy of Skyburn for extra interruption. Sanctuary. Activate our island. Island effect. We can pop the Ponix in hand just for some extra Ponix on field. Add the Grunix. Grunix effect special summon itself. Destroy a. This is actually a. We already have Kieran, so we don't need to destroy Barong. I'll actually choose to destroy Arvada. Arvada effect. Special summoning a Ponix. They're locked out of the extra deck, so I don't know why I'm doing all this goofy stuff. Can't exactly link everything off. But what we can do, or actually no. I goofed. I done goofed. We do not send Arvada. We want to keep this Ponix in the grave so we can add it back for the effect of Kieran. Let's go back to our original plan and send a copy of Barong. Barong effect. Add us a Rangbali, since we will be destroying our own guys on our opponent's turn. That can be very useful. We will set some cards, go to our end phase. In our end phase, Titanic Clad triggers, allowing us to add a copy of Fleur-de-Lis. On our opponent's turn. Yeah, Barong should activate in our standby phase. Ponix adds it back to hand. So on our opponent's turn, we can Kieran, special itself. Sending that. Do I have to use Fire Kings? Yes, using only Fire Kings. So on our opponent's turn, we can seize into this. Or we can Skyburn, destroy 3 to destroy 3 of their cards. Ponix will trigger in our standby phase. Kieran will trigger now. Rangbali will trigger. Kieran will trigger, summoning a different Fire King from hand or grave. We'll special summon another Grunix. Grunix effect, destroy a thing. That allows us to special back our Kieran. Kieran effect, summoning the Grunix, also allows us to destroy 1 card on our opponent's field. So we have destroyed 3 cards on their field, and we're now in a better position for it. We can also Xyz into that, to Hyong of the Fire Kings. Also have the Fleur-de-Lis, special summon itself, target 1 mouse around the field, and negate it. Absolutely insane end board with a lot of interruption. Oh, and an extra imperm, just in case. So, let's assume we get back to our turn. We draw another copy of Sanctuary. That's not great, but we can just swing, swing, swing. That's not very useful, but we can send some even more stuff to drain their extra deck. We'll send this and this for a destroy and Farragut. Draw a card, put 1 card back. We don't need Sanctuary. Just absolutely crazy. You can see why this deck is meta, especially with the Diabell Star engine, making it even more consistent. But as you can see, Dogmatika can also do the trick. So, how was that, guys? I hope you liked it. Please leave a comment. I always love seeing every one of the comments, even though I've received like 2 so far in the entirety of this channel's run. But if you see even more misplays I did, please comment them, because otherwise I just won't know, and I'm still learning this deck. But thank you anyway for listening, and I'll see you next time.